To me it seems like two different modes of being, like being in quietness, or space, and then just running off into my job, into everything, and I just can't get it together. And I seem to get tangled up in problems all the time. And I can't get out of them, like, am I in the right job? Yes, no, or how to earn money, or anything. It's just like plunging back again and again and again, most of the time. Although I try to remember or stay in peacefulness, but it's somehow not working. So what you said about the decision was interesting for me. Really, making this decision, maybe I have not done that. I don't know.
A job is a job, and one can do the job in a very good way, even when one doesn't like too much that job, but one can make friends with that job. This is the job I have now, this is bringing me my living, and that is okay. So when one makes friends with what is happening, what is, one relaxes. And only from that relaxation, change may come. So if one wants to change the job, can come from that acceptance. Because just to fight against a job, just to bring the ongoing trying to reject something that is happening in your life. So then it's better to accept. And then look at it. Some people say, I get up, I am always in a hurry, in a rush. No need to be in a rush, just to get up a bit earlier. Sometimes some 15 minutes to get up earlier is very good. Then you can have a breakfast, relaxed, and then you go to the work. So there are many little things one can take care to maintain one's life in a flow. In that way, even a work that one doesn't like so much becomes interesting, because one is not feeding rejection for that which is happening. And then change can happen. But one has to be behind one's actions. We are all interconnected, and one cannot know how others are going to react or act towards us. But once we are clear with ourselves, then it's easy to see what comes, and again, to act when action is needed, and keep quiet when is the best to do, naturally. So it all, in a way, comes from having a certain decision, a certain single-pointedness. And this single-pointedness, I mean, in reality is truth, self. Finding one's self as priority, number one. The rest all comes secondary. But my experience says that if one create time, also time, normal time, in one's daily life for more space for oneself, like I was saying before, to eat something, to drink something, to that one is taking care of oneself, to lie down and relax, even for 10 minutes sometimes can be very precious in a full day busy work. 10 minutes, one lies down totally paralyzed, or sit quietly, close the eyes, one can really dive into a deep relaxation inside. Then one can work again, but one is going to start working already more relaxed. So it stops, it cuts this older habit of I have to manage, I have to run, somebody's waiting for me, the telephone is ringing, one cannot stop anymore. And then something gets really deeply exhausted. And then it's difficult to sleep, it's difficult to see clearly, and then every little thing that may happen can interfere in one's well-being. So one news on the TV, some letter one receives, somebody says something, one is already identified and suffering and confused. So one has to return. One cannot be responsible for others, but one can be responsible for one's own way of seeing life. But one has to be ready to invest some energy in it. That is, to turn one's attention for that which is beyond time, is one's own self. And that everyone can do.
And where do we go to?
Hmm?
Where do we go to when you do that all, when you reach it? What's to be or not to be? Where do we go to? When we leave again this bodies, or when we are on planet this there, these masters all teach beautiful things. Sometimes you have to think thank you, and sometimes it's back. Is that all true? You understand what I mean?
What does it really matter where do you go? If we are talking all the time here about letting go of the past... Yeah, but you say you're responsible for how you see life, okay? And life goes on and on and on. And you have to plan the next day, the next week, you have to make... Life goes on and on and on until it stops, and you know that very well.
Yeah.
Why life goes on? You make sure that you make the priority of being at home the number one priority.
Yeah.
Because your life goes on, that's what I was saying. It is you in this planet, in your life. Because for you, is your life. Till today I had not seen you. So whatever you carry inside yourself is your own creation. You have some more days, years to come. So make sure that you make a very beautiful this next time you have here. Because like for all of us, the so-called time of running, doing, sleeping, waking up in the morning has an end. Even this whole planet has an end at some point. If you see what the scientists are saying, what they talk, is very beautiful. Once I came into a video about geology, about the planet. So they were explaining in a very beautiful way how the planet Earth came into this. And all, there is no need to tell you because you also learn it. As everybody else in the school, we always come to that. But they always say, like everything that appeared, one day the earth can also disappear. And in this interview that I saw with the scientists were saying, and the sun is tired. And one day it is going to also disappear. So human beings only think about his own little life. But this universe, what one never remembers, is also part of this whole. And also comes from the same source, like you come, that everyone comes. So you come from a source that you will return when this body disappears.
Thank you.
And that is enough to know.
Reminded me going back to the source.
Exactly.
Thank you.
The source where everything and everyone comes from, including the stars, the moons, everything. One looks at the sky, no one looks at the sky with this understanding. One only looks to the day-to-day life, to the supermarket, to the rush, to the pain on the back, the relationship, to the hurt. No one looks at the sky and see there is no buildings in the sky. There is no people running around, there is no relationships, but the sky is always there present. It's a very strong presence. Once in a while someone looks and says, wow, what a beautiful sky today. And in general it's because some clouds came with the light of the sun and made it beautiful. But without even clouds and sun to make it more flowery, the sky is always there. And what is beyond that sky? Once one sees that with those eyes, one stops suffering and giving energy to all these things that are happening. One feels, of course. One can talk about very normal nature, day-to-day life things. This is also part of being here. So one doesn't have to be always talking from the skies. But this understanding somewhere should be present, so that one can live coming from a free heart, freedom of the heart. That is our talks here in these days.
It helps me, thank you. Going back to the source. It's good to remind. I forgot it.
And then doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All these talks will be reborn again, will not gonna be reborn again. And if I'm not perfect in light, and then I'm gonna be reborn again. This is all part of the same mind creating things, ideas, possibilities. But all that is still part of this duality. And the source is the only true thing. So why not to return to that which is true? And this return, mind cannot grasp this understanding. It cannot quite get it, and that is good, no problem. Doesn't need to get anything. Papaji used to say something. I am in light and I arrived, I reached somewhere, arrogance. I'm not in light and I still need to work a lot to find myself, also arrogance. So truth is beyond this duality.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you everybody for your presence here today. It's always a beautiful moment and a beautiful space to sit quietly, independent of having questions or not, of searching for something or not. There's no need for questions, for wanting something, just to being here, sharing one's presence with friends. Is very beautiful. Doesn't need any reason. In this open space where one can share one's heart. So, thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.